So, a Screaming Nemesis build of Moon Stompy went 601 for an undefeated run at a Legacy 1K. Is this deck the real deal? Or is Screaming Nemesis going to have another bad day on the channel? Let's find out. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and Anubis once again is having us do a Screaming Nemesis build of Red Prison / Moon Stompy. And I just want to talk about the deck's positioning real quick. This deck sucks! And I don't mean this specific build. I mean, generally in Legacy right now, Moon Stompy has fallen from grace. After being a deck at the top of the metagame for a very, very long time, its win rate has plummeted. And a statistic that I saw today suggested that it had a 42% win rate, which is bad. It has fallen from maybe being a top 3 or top 5 deck to not even being a top 10 deck right now. So this is innovate or die time for this deck. And Hexing Squelcher is something that I've been testing quite a bit this week to mixed results. Sometimes it looks pretty great, sometimes it looks pretty terrible, and we're going to see how it feels in yet another shell today. The details of this build are not overly exciting other than the 2 cards that I have already highlighted. They are kind of synergistic in that these are both things that can send a little direct damage to face. And this deck is still just capable of doing the broken things that the deck normally does of like broadside, play a Fury, throw Fury at face, 1 ring, draw some cards, broadside, throw 1 ring. Like all of that stuff is still going to be there. And so we'll see if this supporting staff makes it feel better. One problem right now is that Barrogoyf is everywhere, and that tends to be a relatively tough thing for decks like this to beat. And there's also a decent amount of Dimir tempo, and not only do they have Barrogoyf, but sometimes they also have Nethergoyfs as well, or Murktide Regents, just a ton of things that fall outside of the red removal range of Fury in a very, very unfortunate way. The sideboard has 1 spicy singleton, it has an Emrakul. This is something you can technically board in versus show and tell, but is largely there for the purposes of Painter, so that you don't get milled out by their combo. With that, we're going to hop directly into the magic here and see how this deck performs. I don't have high hopes for Moon Stompy as a whole, and we'll see how this build goes. And if you decide you need your copies of Screaming Nemesis, Hexing Squelcher, or anything else to complete your decks, please consider getting them from my sponsor. They support me. I try to plug them. It's a great collab. Use my promo code ThrabenU. Save yourself a little bit on the order. Get free shipping. Great customer service. All right, let's battle. All right, opening hand here has only 2 Spirit Guides as mana. That is simply not going to cut it. Next hand is also pretty weak. I can't even cast 2 3-drops with this hand. I can cast 1 3-drop on turn 2, and I have to hope that a Magus of the Moon solos the game. I don't think this is going to cut it. Gigantha might be energy. Could, I guess, be lands as well. Oh my god. This is terrible. This is a Hexing Squelcher on 1 with no other follow-up. We're going to 4, and at this point we're starting to look for the 1 ring. Miss. Well, miss on being able to cast it. At this point, I'm keeping. I don't think I can do this on 1 realistically. This always goes away. If this is energy, setting this up on 1 might save me a lot of hassle. I think our deck just lost to itself, though. And that's fine. That's going to happen. Okay, looks like energy is correct. My opponent's not playing a turn 1 threat, which means that Chalice on 1 might have a large impact on the game. We're still in this. Yep, Boros Energy confirmed. And I think I'm fine playing that land and taking the 2 for Chalice here. Wasteland's good. But opponent does not Wasteland. They amped Raptor into a Static Prison, which is no good. Oh, shit. Yep. Yeah. I think I just do that immediately. This shuts off almost every card in my opponent's deck, and they can wasteland me, but as soon as I hit a land drop, I'll play the One Ring, and the game effectively ends. I'll take 2, 14. Opponent can wasteland me. I think that's the wrong one to wasteland. I think you make me keep the one that costs life. But like, yeah, I lose another land here, but I'm not sure how relevant that actually is. There's a Blood Moon. That's kind of whatever. What if my opponent had Hexing Squelcher, though? What if? Take 1. Blood Moon's not what I'm looking for. City of Traders is. So let's just fog again. Keep this one. Draw a new card. Yeah, okay. Seems good. Don't worry, opponent's working towards their Giganta. Opponent opts for a basic plains there. I take 0. I played a One Ring there. I'll take 1 to the One Ring. Fury is great. Draw, Shatterskull Smashing. Billion different ways to play this one. I think I like this. Let's just nuke that Raptor and put a fast clock into play. Now I just need to find a Broadside or a One Ring so I don't die to my One Ring. Should be easy enough to do. Well, I missed. And then I want a Moon. I don't know that I need to Moon. Just do a thing that loots. And then I will Squelch through my own Chalice. Now I just have 10 damage in play very easily. All my lands are immune to Wasteland. And my opponent concedes. Alright, I believe we just won a Mull to 4, right? Yeah, I just won a Mull to 4. The One Ring is a stupid Magic the Gathering card. So I have 5 removal spells that I can board in. Blood Moon is of relatively low utility here, especially if my opponent is going to aggressively fetch a basic plains. I think I probably start by pulling those. And then I think there's a Singleton Magus of the Moon that we can get rid of as well. Chalice on turn 1 is still quite strong even on the draw. I think I will keep the Chalices accordingly. Trinisphere would not be crazy when I am on the play if we go to another game. I think I am in for this hand. This plays a Fable of the Mirrorbreaker on turn 1 and probably a One Ring on turn 2. It doesn't have the removal spell that I might like in my opening hand, but this is probably still fine. My opponent plays something like an Ocelot Pride on 1. I have a 2/2 blocker for it already. And opponent keeps on 6. And is in the tank about their line. I wonder if that was a what land am I fetching situation. Okay, and Plateau or Ocelot Pride. Alright, exactly like I drew it up. Ooh, nice. I still kind of just want to Fable immediately, though. Maybe that's greedy on my end, but getting down something that can persistently give me mana is a big deal. Like with the One Ring in hand, I just want to be able to make mana. Oh, Wasteland's another reason to really want to be able to make extra mana. Alright, we successfully wall Ocelot Pride. I can now loot. I probably loot 1 basic land here. Keep the rest of these. Hexing Squelcher. Not the most excited about that. Yeah. Hit my opponent for 2. Am I playing the Squelcher? I think I'd rather just dead the Ocelot Pride. So it gets in there. I'll kill it. Next land drop. Sand Scout. That is a vanilla 2/2. Well, I guess it has another ability, but it's not exciting. So I can attack with this, potentially trade the body, which I would be fine with. Yeah. Trades these is fine. Then there's the One Ring. Draw. Let's just do this. I'm going to end up with a ton of things in hand very quickly, and I don't mind having the Ward Pay Life ability active. Voice of Victory. Sure. Let's hopefully go wild here. Yeah. Screaming Nemesis, Fiery Confluence. Screaming Nemesis is a lot of immediate damage. I think I like playing Fable better, though. So I can go bam, bam, Push 2 points of damage this way. Well, yeah, push 2 because my opponent's going to block 1. And then store that treasure for next turn. Totally fine with this. I can clean up small creatures with Fiery Confluence. Fiery Confluence might end up just going to face. Like have a turn where I play Screaming Nemesis, copy it, swing in, Fiery Confluence for lethal the following turn. Let's see where this goes. Goblin Bombardment. That's interesting, but there's a Squelcher in play. So that makes removing my stuff kind of costly. Opponents still might need to just do it. No block? I think no block. No, I can block a token there. Should have blocked a token there. Okay, so opponent going after the Squelcher. And then again, so Squelcher did 6 points of damage by itself. Totally reasonable. I'd love to draw a Fury. Fury just clears both creatures. We'll see if my opponent wants to do something like sack both of their creatures to kill the reflection of Kiki Jiki. Tear. Sure. I'll take some damage. I'll draw some cards. Oh, there's a Broadside. That seems good. So there's Broadside. I have the ability to copy it. I don't want to do this now. I could have 1, 2, 3, and 4 mana. Let's try to go to combat and see if my opponent will let me attack. Okay, they are. So if I attack with everyone, I can get in for 4 damage, throw the ring for 6, Fiery Confluence my opponent's face for lethal. 2 treasures plus Chrome Mox plus land. Seems good. I'm fine proceeding forward here. Opponent at 7. 1 ring at face. Opponent to 1. Chrome Mox. Imprint. Something. Thundering Eruption. Paying the life. Fiery Confluence. 6 damage to each opponent. Get 'em. So that was a very fast 2-0. The Screaming Nemesis was on the table as something that I could do, and it would have been fine, but I think it was better to take other lines. Hexing Squelcher was absolutely relevant. It did 6 points of damage for 2 mana, which is a very good rate, and was castable through a Chalice on 2 in the previous game as well. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Okay, if the One Ring resolves this hand will be great. So I can do land drop, imprint, Nemesis on 1, One Ring on 2, probably. Seems reasonable, but risky. And the hand probably falls apart to a discard spell or counter spell on the One Ring. Alright, we gotta go fast. F. So we are probably playing against a Black Storm deck with Beseech the Mirror. And I do indeed lose my ring. Opponent just plays that out in respect of Chalice of the Void. Totally reasonable. Alright, 1 ring anyway. So, you are a land. I think I do need to just put the Screaming Nemesis in play and attack with it. If my opponent's deck has Adnaz in it, I need to do damage now. Plus my deck is roughly 50% mana, so I can probably do this and cast the One Ring or a relevant spell next turn. 15. Next land drop. Opponent does only have 3 cards, but they have something to do. Oh, okay. That could have been worse. Alright, saying no to Urza Saga. Oh. Well, alright, Screaming Nemesis. You are a lot of damage here. So this puts my opponent to 8. They're dead next turn to some of my top decks. Adnaz, very unreliable from 8. That's another land. My opponent probably doesn't want to see that. Alright, Fury does not kill my opponent right now. They do get another turn. So my Goldfish will be on turn 4. My opponent, unfortunately, can still fetch with this. You have another Surveil land? No. Alright, here we go. Dark Ritual. Beseech. See if they can build enough Storm here. They beseech again. There's Gaia's Will. My opponent now gets to rebuy things from the graveyard. Opal. No Metalcraft for that. Dark Ritual. I wonder if my 3 damage from my land ends up killing me here. So there's Duress. Beseech, Storm of 9. Tendrils. No, this land does not end up being the deal breaker. Ugh, just needed 1 point of damage from somewhere. GG. Screaming Nemesis, not enough there. Trinisphere is great. Disruptor Flutes are probably playable. Leylines are maybe unexciting, but I might want to play them still. And Fiery Confluence is something I might want to play in respect of Urza's Saga specifically. Blood Moons are either insane or do nothing, with no in-between. I don't know that I am excited about the Blood Moon effects when they could potentially keep my opponent's Urza's Saga on 2 counters forever. My opponent is probably not countering my spells or answering very many of my creatures. Squelcher can probably go. And then Fury is unexciting. Is Squelcher better than Fury as just a 2-power creature that attacks? Or is Fury for clearing out Urza Saga tokens and broadside flinging better? I think it is. This is acceptable. I really want to win game 1 in this matchup, because the things that I'm capable of doing on the play are very strong. I say as I immediately mulligan because I can't reasonably cast my spells. Mana is not kind here. I don't think I can keep this. I'm now on 5. So land drop, Chalice on 0. Use these, Chalice on 1, keep mana. I mean, I think I am keeping it, but it's very possible that this hand bottoms out. This hand also does a lot of self-damage and can pretty easily die to an Urza Saga, soloing me. That is what it is. Pay life, Chalice on 0, Chalice on 1. So let's see how kind the top of the deck is. Fury is quite bad. We boarded out most of those. But it is Insurance versus an Urza Saga, so I guess it's not the worst draw in the world. Hey, there's the Urza Saga. And there's a played out Wishclaw Talisman. Alright, that's not currently castable. Alright, they do have the land drop. That's not great. I might be playing that out just so I can throw it with broadside in the future. As unexciting as that is as a play. Now opponent can make their 2/2, which will quickly become a 4/4. Yep. Then we'll see if opponent has any spicy tech here off the Urza Saga. Nope, just an LED. So the good news is that Fury still kills one of these tokens. The bad news is I've probably taken enough damage already that I just need to Fury now, and I don't get to wait to play broadside and do it. But I don't want my opponent to sneak another Wishclaw Talisman into play and then be able to get these outside of range of Fury. Yeah, just like that. So if I don't draw well, I am just going to die. Opponent is casting a spell. Cabal Ritual. Is this just a small tendrils for some points of damage? Or are you actually making a win attempt with Beseech here? Burning Wish. Racking LED. Yeah, there's a tendrils. So opponent can Wish Claw or a Cabal Therapy, or sorry, a Cabal Ritual here for a little more mana. Okay, just LED. Yeah, that works. That's still 10. Yep, that is enough to get me dead. That was an absolute slaughter. GG's. Alrighty, opening hand doesn't look good. I have 5 mana sources here. I can't play Fable quickly to loot through them. I'm not game for that. Am I on the play? I'm on the play. Ugh. We get this one for free or we lose. On 5, I will accept that, and I'm just unhappy. I think like keeping this bad hand is probably better than mulliganing to 5 on average, but it's probably close. All right, we don't get this one for free. That probably means that we lose. We knew that, keeping the hand, though. If I'm on 5 and my opponent has a Force of Will, they are also just very, very likely to win the game anyway. Alright. We probably play this one until my opponent shows me what archetype they are, and then I concede. Like, all we know right now is that they have Brazen Borrower, which is relatively ambiguous. Brainstorm. And then there's the Fetch to clear. This can also get a basic land. And Ponder. Okay, there's the confirmation. My opponent is at tempo. If I hit the red land, I can make my stuff uncounterable in the short term. Alright, well, I'm shoving this. It's not going to resolve, but I'm willing to try it. I'm ecstatic if this gets Force of Will blue card. But I don't know that I get to wait until I have red land, and then another turn, and then play the One Ring. It feels like I'm dead by then. Alright, opponent pitch cast Force of Will, getting rid of a Daze so that I can't have a Spirit Guide to resolve that. Is a very reasonable play to make. That's Corey Steelcutter. And the first creature comes down. I don't have red mana yet. I can probably Fury away some tokens. I'll take some damage. Alright. I think I'm going to try to wait a turn here. The highest upside play I have is wait one turn, find red mana, resolve broadside, broadside attack, Fury away some tokens, throw Fury at face. I'm at 12. That's a Murktide Regent. That's not a castable card. Not happy about what I have to do here. Fury pitch Blood Moon. 4 damage on Murktide. Fury pitch Squelcher. And we go 3 damage on Murktide, 1 damage there, although the 1 damage there doesn't actually matter. That was 4 cards to answer Murktide Regent. And there's still an onboard threat. Feels very bad. Second Corey Steelcutter. I'm going to get overwhelmed by that. Something as simple as cantrip into cantrip basically kills me on the spot. Alright. There were just no red mana sources in the top dozen cards of my deck. Feels bad. Okay, that's just Corey Steelcutter Quip. Could have been worse. Alright. I think this is the point that I can't possibly win anymore. GG. Not excited about Magus of the Moon here. Chalice is kind of mediocre. My opponent has a spread between 0, 1, 2, and Murktide Regent of effects with Force of Will in the middle there. Don't know that I'm excited about Blood Moon. This can get me 5 removal spells, although honestly these probably get pointed at face. I could also play Trinisphere. Trinisphere is kind of annoying. 3 Fiery Confluence is probably overkill. Let's do this. But I won't be excited about Trinisphere for the game that I'm on the draw. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can YOLO the One Ring on turn 1. I mean, I'm going to do it. I'm just unhappy. My opponent now probably has some number of Force of Negations in their deck as well. Playing the One Ring on 1 means Consign is not something that counters it. I think there's a very good chance that my opponent's hand will have a pitch counter, at which point, like, this just shuts me down. Yep. It feels like both games I have just lost instantly to a pitch counter on turn 1. Alright, at least I'm not getting wastelanded off of my lands. Opponent gets their redraw. And I need both lands and business at the same time. Oh, opponent kept a sketchy hand. I mean, okay. I will start getting in there with the broadside, hopefully. It's not a very good broadside. I don't really have things to throw. Like, if I get wastelanded, I'm back down to 2 mana, which doesn't feel good. It looks like opponent kept a hand that did not pan out. Now I get to make their cantrips worse, shut off Lightning Bolt as a removal spell. We might win this one still. Alright, opponent did now hit land. They probably need to cast spells to potentially fuel Murktide Regent later. And, oh, very aggressively. They daze their own spell there. Is this 2 points of damage right now? I don't think it is. I may need it to be the 3rd mana to cast Gone on a Murktide Regent. It seems like that's what my opponent is playing towards. Yeah. There's a very good chance Fiery Confluence goes under Chrome Mox. On it to 12. Then they can Surveil here or get a basic land. Going for Surveil. Keeping their card. Very bad for me. There's the second land drop for the presumed Murktide Regent. That can resolve. And we'll see what goes on here. I think I'm going to see if my opponent has another counter spell. I would prefer to play this around a daze. So let's Fable. Fine, just sending in for 2 like this. 1 to 9. Next land drop. Alright, Murktide's held back. That's great for me. I'm fine looting the Ancient Tomb. Ooh, I get Hexing Squelcher. Yeah, that's fine. That's an okay use of my mana. I think I am okay with attack with both. Bank this mana for later. Then broadside, target your face. Throw the thing that's blocked. Opponent goes to 5. And then Lightning Bolt is covered via Chalice, and Squelcher can let me gone Murktide Regent. Alright. Get the win there. Despite the initial Force of Negation being very, very, very scary. I'm now not excited about this card. Not exactly excited to bring in a 4-drop versus a Daze deck either. I could Disruptor Flute for Murktide Regent or Force of Will. I don't know, maybe against the Corey Steelcutter builds, the Trinisphere is justifiable. A lot of times I don't like Trinisphere on the draw versus Delver style decks. My Kingdom for a capable 7-card hand with mana. I don't think this does it. This hand is trash. I'll go to 5. 5-card hand is also trash. Existence is pain. Alright, Chrome Mox, Imprint, a card, City of Traders, Screaming Nemesis, keep a removal spell. Could be worse. Screaming Nemesis just trades evenly with Lightning Bolt, which I hate. Alright. Not hopeful of my chances here. The Blood Moon effects are worse, but the Blood Moon effects are all over here, so that's fine. Okay. We'll take it. Imprint, Fiery Confluence. Here is a Chalice on 1 around days. Resolves. Volcanic Island. Alright. I think I'm not playing this land. If Screaming Nemesis gets dazed, so be it. I think I want to keep this land drop to potentially play a 1-ring later. Yep, that's fine. Okay, cool. I didn't play a land last turn, so I got dazed, but now I have another land drop. I'm gonna just assume that this is a spell this game, and just not take the life loss there when I have Ancient Tomb representing more life loss as well. Alright, so be it. Same line as last turn. Opponent has land drop 3 now. Am I fine playing that dazably? I think it's more likely I eat something like a replicated Consign or a Force of Will or a Force of Negation here over another daze. Yeah. So the replicated version is not cast and can hence counter the 1-ring. I have a Gone for a Murktide Regent that my opponent plays out. Definitely afraid though. I think I am at a disadvantage despite the Chalice on 1 in play. I don't know how much of my opponent's hand I am shutting down. I don't mind them hitting more land drops here. Fable is great. I'm not sure if I can loot away the Dead Gone that's currently in my hand. Alright, nice. Like, the Dead Gone is not getting my opponent dead, but my opponent drawing Murktide Regent is the thing that spins this game most quickly. Alright, seems like it's probably Murktide time if we're doing that. Another Brainstorm. Alright, there's the Murktide. I think I'm going to go ahead and cast Gone immediately. Then use that to inform my decisions about this. I think I am looting that. Another Fable. Can't cast that immediately. Opponent to 16. My opponent can replay the Murktide Regent, but it'll be much smaller. Alright, there's a 4/4 Murktide Regent. My opponent did not pay extra mana into it. Replicated Consign would suck. Let's see if that happens. Force of Negation. Alright, I don't want to attack my Shaman token into this. So I am passing here. I imagine my opponent has to go aggro here. Nope, they do not. So I can throw away the Goblin Shaman body to almost always resolve Fury. I think I'm into that. Just play around days here. Yep. This will cost me 2 life, and now 1 of the 2 treasures for Fury. Alright, last card was not Force of Will, in which case I now have Reflection of Kiki-Jiki Fury, which feels pretty disgusting. Opponent is fetching New Murktide? New Murktide, which should just die right now to this. Fury that. Then copy a Fury again. No damage to anybody. And this is just 18 damage in 1 combat step off of a single original copy of Fury. Well, that felt absolutely awful on my end, but scoreboard, we did win, and we are positive so far in this league. GG's. Alright, opening hand. Land, Spirit Guide, Squelcher. So I could Squelcher on 1, and if I do so, I can't play any of my cards on turn 2. I'm not excited about that. Alright, Mountain, Chromox, Imprint for Fury, Chalice on 1, City of Traders, 1 ring. That's a good hand. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart via a Thoughtseize. Fuck. Any red card there, and I can cast Fury. Fuck. Alright. With active Cavern of Souls, I don't think I'm gonna play Chalice. I'm gonna hold this to see if I can Fury. Oh, this is so unfortunate. Do I eat Muxus immediately off of this trigger? I do. Fuck me. Fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, so I am dead next turn. All of those things also have Ward to life, making Fury very, very bad. Only I'm allowed to play this card. I'll squad heavy in my opponent's build as well. So, can I ever win after playing the One Ring? Realistically, I don't think so. Like, I can't easily remove my opponent's creatures. I think I'm going to concede here and not confirm that I am Moon Stompy. I just don't think I can do enough with this Fury to stop this board. GG. Like, if I remove 3 creatures there, I take 6 immediately. And then Sling Gang is still in play. Gross. 5 mana. Sorry, 5 removal spells come in. Blood Moon effects are bad as a whole. Chalice is not exciting either. That kind of puts me in a rough spot. I think I will keep Chalice on the play. Turnosphere better? Not excited about either. Chalice is more castable on turn 1. And then on the draw, I might just increase my red count. Yeah, this is fine. Again, Cavern of Souls means that my opponent can force through a Chalice on 1 if they have a Goblin Lackey. Let's throw down and see if it's relevant. There's a very good chance that it is not. Wooded Foothills and pass turn. Oh, I don't mind that. That means that I can play the One Ring while taking less life loss here. Drawing my card. Okay, cool. An opponent can probably Surveil here. Bad lands. Oh. I don't really get rid of artifacts. So this is now bad. I have something that is just going to tick down and slowly whittle away my life. I think I'm going to just use this to hardcast Fury next turn. And then maybe we just play a One Ring very late in this game as a Fog at 7 mana. Oh no! Squelcher means that their things are back online through Chalice. Alright. Thanks, I hate it. So 2 to my Ancient Tomb. And then 2 to this Squelcher trigger. Opponent fetches. And gets a basic to hedge against Blood Moon effects. The Fury is on paper a 3-turn clock, but in practice, given the number of bodies in my opponent's deck, there's no way that's actually going to be the case. Yeah, rough. And now if I attack, I get pinged for 1. I have the 1 ring ticking down here. Everything's bad. I guess I've got to get through them eventually. So there's the block, and now my opponent will activate this and drain me. Yep. Then we squelch. Opponent's Disruptor Flute was just disgustingly good. Like, it already would have been good against the first 1 ring, but the fact that I had another was insult to injury. Opponent bolts themselves. They need more mana. This is certainly not good for me. Oh, that feels like I'm dead. Yeah, attack 2 with broadside, throw Sling Gang at face. Yeah, they've already got it. All right. That was a landslide victory in my opponent's favor. A bunch of my cards like Chalice and Blood Moon and Magus all are not good against my opponent, and they have a bunch of expendable blockers to buy time. GG. I would like good opening hands. Ask and you shall be forced to mulligan again. Alright, so need to mulligan. We are now on 5. This is a reasonable hand. Turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Magus of the Moon. One of these always goes back. And I think I'm going to keep Sundering Eruption here. Alright, we throw down Chalice of the Void. Opponent says they're a big fan. Hope you're a big fan of Chalice of the Void. We've got Bobble targeting themselves. This probably is going to be an Izzet tempo deck. Oh, Rakdos. I wonder if opponent is testing out something with Moonshadow like what I've been messing around with. Bobble redraw. I don't know on this decision. It's always this. I think I am willing to go for the freebie 1-2 punch of Chalice on 1 Magus of the Moon. I still have land to do Fable stuff afterwards. Yeah, I bet my opponent is playing Rakdos Moonshadow with 8 baubles and also Stalactite Stalker. Yeah. I presumably like what my opponent is cooking over there. Does Leyline stop Moonshadow? I need to check wording. Yeah, are put into your graveyard. So if I open on a Leyline, my opponent's Moonshadows don't grow. I think Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon are probably bad, despite the fact that I just got a potential freebie there, partially on the back of Magus. I think I am okay playing this. I don't know that I mulligan to it or anything, but it can keep those things in range of red removal, which feels relevant. And then I probably want these. I think I'm keeping my Chalices, because I'm going to assume that my opponent has probably at least 12 1-drop creatures. Down 1 Screaming Nemesis? What about Hexing Squelcher, actually? Yeah, because Screaming Nemesis being blocked by a large black creature could be positive for me. Let's try this. Keep. Hand is not perfect. I would like a little bit more gas here, but I have a Leyline to be annoying and the ability to cast a 3-mana play immediately. So, basic or not? Not. Yep. Bobble. This is a 1-1 forever. And the cycle. Redraw. Oh, 1 ring? Yeah. Yeah, let's just do that immediately. That requires Ancient Tomb, right? Ancient Tomb, Spirit Guide, Chrome Mox, imprint one of these 2. Yes. Let's assume a Sundering Eruption going under there is correct. And the 1 ring was like basically my hand-picked draw there. What I said last turn was I feel like I needed more gas, and the 1 ring is just the best source of card advantage there. So bam. Alright, well, I don't need the second Leyline. That's cycling a Street Wraith. A second Street Wraith. Street Wraith is cute. I hadn't thought of doing things with Street Wraith. I wonder if my opponent also has Death Shadow in there. Alright. Bowmasters is a thing that exists. Do I draw right now? I think I do this. Maybe not. Let's draw now. Alright, it is Bowmasters. It just becomes awkward if my opponent holds. Okay. I go to 14. I make a land drop. This gets to crack me for a decent amount. I think I can probably win without the one ring from here. There's broadside. I think I will attack and see if my opponent wants to block. Yeah, this is fine. I broadside, target the orc army token, throw the ring, trade for 2 bodies, have 3 very solid cards in hand. I am good with this. I should have thought a little harder about Chalice on 0 for my opponent's presumable 8 0-cost artifacts that they're going to cycle. I think I still like it on 1 better. I don't know whether or not Death Shadow is a thing that I have to worry about yet. And I think I'm happy enough with Squelcher Chalice as my next turn, going down to 10 life. So redraw. That's fine. So there's Chalice. And the Squelcher means that I can cast my own spells through my Chalice. 2 mana. Smash to Smithereens. Okay. More baubles. I do have to start being a little careful with the Ancient Tomb. Opponent keeps their card and cycles. Bauble redraw. Fable. I think I'm fine going to 5. I'm going to presume that I can find more removal here. Let's just dead this creature. Send in for 2. I might want to be careful about tapping Ancient Tomb one more time, though. Staying outside of range of just dying to a lightning bolt or smash to smithereens is definitely preferable here. Yes. Always loot this. I think I'm going to loot this too, just to look for another untapped land that doesn't hurt me. Nice. So, absolutely on board with this much. If I tap for broadside, I can die to a lightning bolt, so let's not do that. So yeah, opponent to 7. I think I am okay. Actually, I'm going to throw the Chrome Box. Oddly. Let's remove targets for Smash to Smithereens. It needs to be double lightning bolt to kill me. Alright, we played around single lightning bolt. Alright. I played around that to the best of my ability. Would have died if I tapped out for the other broadside to go for the throat immediately. GG's. The ley lines are good. Those are staying in. The Trinisphere's Fiery Confluences are things that I can think about. Squelchers are medium. Trinisphere seems devastatingly good if I can get it down. I'm on the draw versus an aggro deck. I don't love that the most, but this is so much potential mana loss from my opponent, given all of their 0 drops. Okay. This is gonna be good. Chrome Mox, imprint one of these 2. Sundering Eruption, Spirit Guide, Trinisphere immediately. So this as land, Chrome Mox, probably imprint you, Spirit Guide, Trinisphere. I'll need another mana source, but I think I'm good to keep this. I could instead play this differently and play Fable on 1, Trinisphere on 2. Play line in play. Sundering Eruption, Chrome Mox, imprint, broadside. I think I'm just going to go Trinisphere. My deck is 50% mana, and my opponent's deck has a ton of 0 drops. I'm going to imagine that I play spells before they do. Marsh Flats. Never didn't have it. Very nice. So I will get some time with Fable of the Mirrorbreaker before my opponent can cast their first spell. It is very, very good for me. 3 Wraith to exile there. Opponent hits next land drop. Screaming Nemesis. I'll totally keep that here. It is just a castable card that attacks for a total of 5 here between these 2 bodies. Alright, Screaming Nemesis, round 5. Redemption time. Send in. Make treasure. Opponent at 14. So if they hit their land drop this turn, they get to play their first spell of the game. I have 0 cards in hand. I have played everything. Oh, they miss. That feels deadly. Alright. Send in for 5. Opponent to 9. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, I will cast this. And just be slightly sad if my opponent randomly has something like land drop Toxic Deluge. Alright, we have gotten the GGs in chat. I presume that my opponent's deck is quite cool. So we win the match here, and we come up positive in the league. GG's. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Fine. I feel decisively medium on the deck despite a positive record. It felt like a very large number of my opening hands were just not keepable. And that kind of comes with the territory of playing a deck like this. It does mulligan a decent amount. I don't know that any of the ratios are off, though. So this is 28 mana sources, which is about the 50% that I would expect from a deck like this. So we're in the right ballpark there. What about the creatures themselves? Squelcher allowing you to cast some things through your own chalice is neat. I liked that. Screaming Nemesis never triggered in the entire league. Honestly, we did not do very much combat math this league in terms of attacking creatures into creatures. A lot of it was just goldfishing versus the opponent in things like the Storm matchup. Screaming Nemesis as a 3/3 with haste that you can copy with Fable is cool, I guess. I don't know that I am impressed in particular by anything here. I don't think this is enough of a different build that this brings Moon Stompy back from the brink or anything. But this was not embarrassing to play. And some of the previous Screaming Nemesis builds were definitely questionable. This one feels fine. Seeing how things played out today, would I make any changes? I think I would just change this into a basic mountain. It feels like this deck is often very, very, very mana hungry. So just having a slightly more stable land sounds good to me. 2 1/1s with haste doesn't seem crazy in the Tamiyo Barrogoyf Bowmaster's world. I think I'd rather just have a mountain there. Could consider dropping the Emrakul for another anti-combo card. I think that would be reasonable. Other than that, I think I like most of what's here. If you have any thoughts, throw them down in the comments below. And folks, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!